Hey, sixth graders. So today we're just going to explore some things a little bit more in depth with ACE problems. And so this is ACE from Investigation 1. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about, we're going to skip around a little bit and I'll tell you your assignment. But on page 24, there are questions 32 and 33. And before I show you that, I want to show you something. We may have talked about this last year, but the kissy lip strategy. All right. And basically what that is you have the length, the width, and the height. And this is the strategy for finding surface area. Okay. And so basically what happens is you put your length, your width, your height there. And you know you've got to multiply length times width. You know you have to multiply length times width times height. And then you have to multiply length times height. And so it kind of looks like lips, right? So that's just kind of a fun way of remembering all of the things you need to do to find surface area. So kissy lip strategy. All right. So I want to talk about question 32. So getting the surface area of a rectangular prism, we just basically did it, right? So it's twice the length times the width plus the length times the height plus the width times the height, right? Because in all we have 6 sides. Here we have 1, 2, 3, and double it, you've got 6 sides. Now, if you stretch or shrink the rectangular prism with the dimension length times width times height by a scale factor of f, what will be the new surface area? So this is something that some people were confused about on the checkup. And so basically what is happening here, your surface area is still double, but now it's the scale factor times length and the scale factor times the width, all multiplied together. And it's plus the scale factor times the length and the scale factor times the height, all multiplied together, plus the scale factor times the width times the scale factor times the height, all multiplied together. Okay, so you've got much more involved because every side, if you have length times width, for example, is multiplied times the scale factor. All right. How would that look like a little differently if we were to use the distributive property and make it a little bit more clean? So that's this question C. Well, it could look like the surface area is 2 times the scale factor squared. Remember, each time you have 2 of these, so it ends up being squared, right? Then we can go back to, we can just place this original formula in there. Length times width plus length times height plus width times height. Okay. So in this case, we've basically multiplied that scale factor by 2. We're doubling that whole thing and then putting the rest of that in. And that's why on the checkup for 8, whatever your surface area of the original was, if it was the scale factor of 8, the new surface area would be 8 squared bigger, or 64 times bigger. Okay, there's a lot of information there. I would highly recommend, if you're confused by that, take another look. Now, I'm going to erase all of this for a moment, and we're going to talk about, well, what happens with volume. Okay, so give me a second. Close. Okay, with volume, we know volume is length times width times height, right? Now, if we have this with a scale factor of f, our new volume is f times length times f times width times f times height. And if we wanted to use the distributive property, well, we know we have 3 f's right away. So let's just f cubed and then 3 length times width times height. And that's why with a scale factor of 8, we cubed it, and then times length times width times height. So whatever that is, f cubed, or 8 cubed, is 512, and so your answer is 512 times larger. All right, now that we've talked about that, make sure you understand it. You guys are going to go ahead and do questions 7, 8, and 11 for your assignment today. This one you probably want to use a calculator on, but you can use calculators on everything else as well. Tomorrow I will send up a revised checkup for you guys to do. I'm not going to give it to you today because I want you to practice before you do the checkup again. The checkup will be slightly different, and if you had a perfect score on the first checkup, you don't need to redo it. But that's it.